Maybe the third time will be the charm. Hi everyone, my name is Hyejung Kook, and I'm really excited to be here with Bad Mouth Reading Series. My deepest thanks to Rebecca Aronson for inviting me to take part, and also to all of you for taking the time to watch and listen. So I wanted to start with an old favorite of mine. I wrote it 15 years ago or so now, and it came out of an exercise. So I was sitting in Chuck Wachtel's Craft of Fiction class at NYU, and he gave us Donald Barthelme's perfect sentence exercise. So I've got to check my notes. That means a sentence which is surprising, in some sense true, beautiful, and possessed of a metaphysical dimension. So here's my attempt. Another life. The hand will find a life of its own when the mind, distracted, is unaware of what insinuates itself beneath the fingertips. The sensitive ridges and whorls catching on objects the way prickly burrs would cling to my clothes when I went walking in late summer during childhood. My fingers searching things out on their own. The sticking burrs, poison ivy hiding in the exposed roots of a red oak. My neighbor's grape hyacinth startled to find itself in my hands, each tiny purple bell pulled off and crushed between thumb and forefinger of the same hand, the right one, that runs over and over again the grain of this homely rectangular table, scored and pitted by penknife and pencil tip, as if the former life of the tree could be found this way, could be drawn up the fingers and into the body like the roots had once drawn water, as if what was needed for living could be found this way in the spark and crackle of nerves webbing under skin, the hand looking for an answer here in the wood, in what happens as it moves, tracing patterns, whirl, loop, arch, and the mind finds itself caught between crest and trough of the wave, these dark lines, the others seeking. So I feel like we're all going through a time of grief and uncertainty, and I found that new pain often calls up old pain, and I wanted to share work that grapples with and makes space for those emotions. So the title of this next poem is Gravida 4, which is an obstetrical term. It refers to the number of pregnancies a woman has had, regardless of whether it results in a live birth. So the poem does refer to pregnancy loss, which is something that happens to so many women, but you don't hear about it until it happens to you or your partner. They say about 10 to 20% of known pregnancies end in miscarriage, and the real number is probably higher because a lot of women miscarry before they even know they're pregnant. The first line of the poem comes from Federico Garcia Lorca's Gacela de la Muerte Oscura, or Gacela of the Dark Death, and it's also a syllabic poem with stanzas of 5-7-5 alternating with 5-5. Gravida 4. Sleep of the apples under the trees that bore them, sweet smell of decay. I still dream of them, the luminous ones, the few short weeks I carried each, one for 7, the other for 6. Once I wondered how deadness can ripen like a fruit, but then I understood, and then how I wished I didn't. I am ripening again. I am not a pomegranate, the fruit that some say grew on the tree of knowledge, Persephone's fall. Might she have known what she was doing when she ate those 6 or 7 seeds, their sweet redness bound up tightly in bitter white membranes? I am ripening, but I do not know for how long. I do not know if it's winter inside me or if it's spring. So one of the things that's happened to me since I became a mother is that I've started to see how this body of mine, which is female and Asian American, relates to the body politic, to the male gaze, public opinion, and how I really want things to be better for my children. So this poem uses language from Dr. Christine Blasey Ford's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2018, and I will try to distinguish it by my delivery. The day Dr. Christine Blasey Ford testifies before the Senate Judiciary Committee, I teach my daughter the names of the parts of female anatomy. Today, we have naming of parts. Yesterday, in the park, you shrieked, my butt hurts," after a little sand had worked its way into your labial folds. Your 2-year-old voice piercing as a hawk's. I held you open in bright sunlight to make sure I removed every tiny grain as you whimpered and flinched, no matter how gentle I tried to be. I don't have all the answers, but when you ask today, I have these names at least to give you. Today, we have naming of parts, and tomorrow you will chant the words over and over in the way of toddlers, entranced by repetition. But today, we have naming of parts. This is the labia, where the sand hurt you yesterday. The labia protects the vagina, where when you are older, blood will come out once a month, like the full moon you love. It doesn't hurt to bleed like this. The vagina is also where babies come out, where you came out. A ring of fire before the circlet of my flesh tore, just a little, just one stitch needed to hold me together again. When I was young, maybe 5 or 6, I don't remember as much as I would like to. 2 older boys shoved sand down my underwear. I stood, shocked, then began to cry for the shame and then the hurt when I tried to walk. Indelible in the hippocampus is the laughter, while I hobbled, bow-legged, trying to lessen the pain of the grit between my legs. I didn't know the word labia then. I didn't tell my mother what happened. Yes, I believe it was a sunny day. Or was it cloudy? But I am 100% certain grape hyacinth bloomed beside the swings. Today, we have naming of parts. This is the urethra, where pee comes out, and this is the anus, where poop comes out. Here is the clitoris. It feels good to touch. No one else should be touching you in these places except family while cleaning you or a doctor checking if you are hurt. I am here today not because I want to be. I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you the truth. Today, we have naming of parts. This is not a flower. This is not a peach. This is the labia. This is the vagina, not the sheath of an ear of grain. This is the clitoris, not a key nor a little hill. This is the urethra. This is the anus. The parts are yours. The names yours. This is my wish. The power of true names, capable of binding, a circle of protection. These words, a ward in your little girl voice, the sweet and sing-song lilt as you try each sound, make what I believed unlovely, lovely, charming, a charm against evil. I am here because I cannot hold you within the circle of myself the way I once did. Our edges blurred. You broke free, shrieking, fierce little ayas. Don't let them break you. You are here. I am here. we will utter the truth of ourselves. For today, we have naming of parts. So my daughter appears in that poem, and my son appears in the next one. He knows he's in it, and he'll often ask me to read it for him. So the poem refers to a couple periods of the traditional Korean farming calendar, and it also mentions songpyeon, which is a half-moon-shaped rice cake that we traditionally eat during Chuseok, the mid-autumn harvest festival. The end of October. Dark mares of the moon, foaming, cold, nectar, tranquility facing crises, fecundity. You are clearest at first quarter, half-lit, songpyeon-shaped. Tonight, again, the baby cried for the sight of you. He is always crying for the moon or horses or apples, fighting sleep, craning his neck up to stare and stare, unblinking, little hands pressed against the cold window pane. But you were invisible behind clouds and light rain. Halfway between Sanggang, the fall of frost, and Ipdong, the onset of winter, the harvest is done, the trees and grass yellowing. I have no chrysanthemum wine, but the baby left half an apple, the flesh still crisp and white. Tonight, at least, I'll sleep with sweetness in my mouth. So this is the last poem, and it is new work. And earlier this summer, I ran a generative workshop called The Magic of Words, and we looked at prayers, blessings, incantations, and then tried our own hand at some magical poems. So this sense of poetry as a performative utterance, not just something that describes a thing, but tries to make something happen, has gone from an undercurrent to something more overt in my work in recent years. I do believe that words are magic, that they can create new words, worlds, and realities, that we have to articulate what those are to make it possible to have them become real. I think it's especially important now during this time of pandemic and protest, when the systemic injustice against so many populations is just unmistakable, towards not just, but including, but not limited to LGBTQIA, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, when our president is misnaming COVID-19 as the China virus, and there's been such a sharp rise of anti-Asian racism and xenophobia. I think this pandemic has shown how interconnected we really are, that individual choices about masks and social distancing reverberate in powerful ways throughout our whole communities. And I keep thinking about John Donne and how he says, no man is an island, that any man's death diminishes me because I'm involved in mankind. And we're all involved in mankind. So this poem came out of that workshop. It's inspired partly by Lucille Clifton's beautiful poem, Blessing the Boats. And I wanted to close by offering this up to you. Prayer for healing. May you listen to the wound. May you hear in the red noise of your pain the sweet song of a cardinal, a voice of living flame, or the voice of a loved one. May you trust the inner self that knows wholeness, that you are connected, you are infinite, you are loved. When you listen, may you hear what you need to heal, to live, to die with joy. Thank you so much for listening. Be well, be well, be well.